welcome to Inside Outlook. I'm Jeff Haver, Superintendent of Pemberton Township Schools. This week is School Violence Awareness Week as well as National School Safety Week. School safety continues to be a major concern of parents everywhere, and we want students, staff, and parents to know that at Pemberton Township Schools, we take a proactive approach to school safety. With me today to talk about not only what Pemberton Schools is doing to keep our children safe, but about what you as parents can do to help keep our schools safe is Security Chief Joe Bowen. Welcome, Mr. Bowen.
Thank you, Mr. Havers.
Mr. Bowen, can you begin by giving our audience members a brief summary of some of the security measures we currently have in place in our schools?
Absolutely. The district employs security guards in every building. Some buildings have one, some buildings have multiple guards. We have a state-of-the-art camera system that was installed in 2018. We have both interior and exterior cameras. We have upgraded our alarm systems, and we have a fantastic working relationship with local police as well.
And how about our vestibules?
We upgraded our vestibules, so every building has a vestibule that provides additional security when visitors come into the building.
Okay, great. Even though schools are being more vigilant than ever regarding the safety of our students, it's critical that everyone involved actually follows the procedures that we have in place. Can you tell us why that is so important?
Well, as you know, Mr. Havers, I recently in August, I gave a presentation to our administrators in the district to discuss what the results of the Uvalde school shooting out of Texas and what that committee found were some of the issues in regards to school safety. And our primary defense as a district is to maintain all of our exterior doors that are locked and secured, and that we have all of our visitors and guests that come into a building come through the main office where they're vetted by security.
So are those the two main issues that the schools experience in maintaining safety protocols?
Yes, sir. I mean, as far as I said, if we can keep our perimeter secured, then we can absolutely make sure that whoever's coming into a building is checked properly before they come in.
And Mr. Brown, what are some of the other challenges we have in terms of adhering to our protocols?
A few that I wanted to highlight, Mr. Havers, are one, a big one is DoorDash. We have students and sometimes staff members ordering food deliveries to the buildings, and those deliveries must come through the main entrance so that we can vet whoever that is that's bringing food in and make sure that the food's coming in is something that's building appropriate. We have had instances where students and unfortunately staff have accepted these deliveries through, not through the main entrance, but through side doors, and that causes an issue.
Are there any concerns with propping doors open? I know in Uvalde there was a problem where staff members would prop doors open.
Absolutely. So for us, any kind of propped open door, whether it's for a class to go outside for recess or a class to go outside for other types of activities, when a door is propped open, it leaves us vulnerable. And we are working very diligently with our staff to remind them of that, and that security guards are checking the building frequently to make sure that all of our doors are locked. In addition to that, another concern from my perspective as the chief of security is that students opening doors for people that they don't know. The Parkland shooting, for example, Parkland, Florida, that student, that individual that did the shooting was no longer a student in that building, but came to the building with a shirt with the student logo or school logo on it and was given access into the building under the perception that he was a student.
Right, so we got to make sure students and staff, everybody has to go through the main entrance.
Yes, sir.
Great. This year in New Jersey, a bill went into effect requiring all public schools to develop threat assessment teams and had them in place by 2023 school year. Can you tell us more about that?
So as you know, when we have a reported threat to a building or the perceived threat to a building, I work with the police department, the building administration, and we break down that reported threat. And we do that as a team, as a threat assessment team. And then the state, in August, the governor signed a bill that mandated every school district in New Jersey, beginning the following school year, which will be 23-24, will have threat assessment teams in every building, trained in every building, and working collaboratively as a team. And they will break down all of these reported threats and then make sure that they're addressed accordingly.
Right, so we already have threat assessment teams. We've already had them in place. even though it wasn't required by the state.
Yeah, we're ahead of the game in that
Right.
regard, and we work well together in every building, working with the building administrators, building counselors, the nurses, all the important parties in regards to that specific student and that specific building. Yes, sir.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Bowen. School safety is a community concern, and to that end, we want to stress the importance of a proper parent response to emergency situation. We'll be sending out an email this week covering the do's and don'ts on how parents can help us keep their child safe if we are to have a crisis occur. For now, can you briefly touch on the points on our screen, Mr. Bowen?
I will, Mr. Havers. And I think first and foremost, I want to express to parents who are watching this that I completely understand their need for information and their need to assure that their students, their children are safe. When they come to school, we accept that responsibility. So when there is a critical incident, and in my tenure in the district, we've had 2 or 3 that were elevated. I understand the parents' response to want to come to the building and take their child and make sure that they're okay and remove them from the scene. What that does, however, it impedes what we're trying to do, working with our first responders, emergency services personnel. And when a parent comes to the building, it's very likely that if there is a police response or a fire department response, they're not going to be able to get onto the premises because it's being blocked off by emergency services.
Right, and we're both parents.
Yes.
We understand the desire to go and grab our child, make sure everything's okay, but in many regards, that would just interfere with what the police are trying to do, emergency response teams, what the school's trying to do to keep everybody safe. So in those situations, we just ask that parents be patient, that parents please do not call the school, encourage your student to follow the directions of school staff, make sure all contact information is accurate and current so that you can get those global messages. And Mr. Brown, is there anything else you'd like to add before we go?
I just would like the audience to know that myself as the chief of security and the staff, the security staff in our buildings, we really take this responsibility to heart. And we appreciate when parents are understanding, really would like parents to speak to their children. My biggest concern now is these, when a student sometimes, is upset or angry, or even more important, social media, when they say something on social media or they say something to another student that in and of itself may not appear to be a threat or may not to them appear to be alarming, it may be alarming to others, and we will diligently investigate and work with the police department when we receive what we perceive to be a threat. And unfortunately, times are different now, where the police department is aggressively pursuing any reported threats, as they should. Sometimes, however, that results in enhanced police involvement, which then could work its way to the prosecutor's office and could result in criminal charges. And I would ask, and I know that you would also ask, that kids be smart when they're upset, to not say anything that could be perceived as a threat.
Right, or sometimes somebody posts something, they see a TikTok or they see something that they think may be funny, but we take safety and security very seriously.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, thank you for joining us, Mr. Bowen.
Thank you, Mr. Havers.
A few reminders before I go. The October Board of Education meetings will be held Thursday, October 20th for the work session, and Thursday, October 27th for the action meeting. Both meetings will take place in the Pemberton Township High School auditorium at 6:30 p.m. Thank you for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Inside Outlook.